My door.
Can you see that the dawn's early light was so proudly we had the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes had bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and riding with the monsters gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right. How you doing tonight, Wayne?
Good, good. That was very nice. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was the Clay's sister. That's a great job. Great
Yeah,
job.
real nice job. Clay put that
Yeah,
together, and then I don't know. I like using that. I think she did a hell of a job on that. So I just
yeah.
looked. We were supposed to be banned from going on Facebook. That's what they said, but we're live there. We're live on all our outlets, X, Facebook. So hey,
Hey,
maybe you brought
good.
some luck back here, Wayne.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They probably thought the guy's harmless. So
Yeah, so my guest tonight is Wayne Muth. Wayne and I are going to talk a little preseason bow prep. I seen you had some game cam picks, Wayne. I'm going to talk about a little bit about that too, some game cam stuff. We got Antelope, a lottery that was finished up here. And I, I didn't say I wanted to talk to you about this, but I did. I seen you had a video on your Facebook page about that mounted shooting. I kind of
oh
want to hit
yeah,
on that a little bit too. So,
yeah. We'll
yeah.
do that. You bet.
Yeah, it's gonna be. What are we out now from tomorrow? We're how many weeks out from bowl opener here? 6 weeks.
About 6 weeks. Yeah, September. August 30th, I believe, is the
Hmm.
date. Yeah, the
Hmm.
day before Labor Day weekend, and kind of setting a target on that. I've been out doing some scouting, out checking cameras. Last week I was out. I was surprised on how dry it was in some of the places out west because
Really?
you thought that the rains covered everything, but there's really spotty stuff that's not very is not as green as what you'd expect because
Hmm.
with all the rain that we had been getting. So
It
yeah,
wasn't. I was at the ranch last weekend. It wasn't. I didn't think it was too bad there. It was definitely more moist there than here, And then in the mornings, they're still getting a bunch of dew on the grass. But yeah, with this wind and 100, and
oh
they're
yeah,
they're saying what a chance of maybe hit and miss thunderstorm Saturday. I almost hope that hits. So
yeah.
you
It'd be
know.
nice to have get some more rain again, put that
Yeah.
down. So
Yep. I'm gonna hit on a few of these comments here quick, Wayne, and then we'll get after. Buddy Brian Warner, good evening, fellow MVs. Hey Brian, he's busy putting some firearms in his will there. So Josh
you
Patterson, evening, Josh. Brian, oh, there you go. Brian's on X. See, that's what I'm talking about right there, buddy. Perfect. Eric Newman, evening, Eric. Eric says they're brown and crunchy down there in South Dakota in his neck of the woods too. So
oh yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I mean
yeah,
July usually dries out a little bit anyways, so
yeah. And especially with this heat wave, it's been crazy. It's really drying out things in a hurry, and um, yeah, you'd hope to get another couple shots before too long here. That's for sure.
right. So Wayne's, if anybody doesn't know Wayne, you're an outdoor rider, right, Wayne? And
Yep.
Wayne
Yeah.
scores a lot of deer. He's a big bow hunter, loves the mule deer like myself, elk too. You
Yeah.
got a big elk. Is that an elk shed or is that
Yeah.
actually an elk?
That's an elk shed found out west. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you doing here for your preseason? Wayne, we just said. I mean, 6 weeks is going to fly by, and we're all going to be ready to do some bow hunting. I mean, what's kind of your routine when you starting to get ready now? Or are you just checking game cams, and what are you doing?
Had game cams out since the beginning of the year, and check them every once in a while. I just went out and checked them. It's been like 3 months. I didn't think there was any need to check them earlier, and
Hmm.
did some scouting, did some getting out there on some hills, do some glassing. I glassed a few bucks, fair amount of does here and there. Not as many bucks out there as what you think is what you'd like to have. That's for
Right.
sure. But I mean, they're there. It's a little more tough right now because of the cover and being able to see them. And
Yeah.
checking trail cameras is really a critical piece right now that you can get into and see where they're traveling, the time of day. Um, you may be seeing some of the same deer on the same cameras. I'll put some of my cameras in different drainages to
Hmm.
see where they're going. And if you're seeing some of the same deer, you'll know, the timing wise where they're traveling and such. And that really helps as well. And you get to see the antler growth on these and seeing how things are going. Right now is July. The July month, the antler growth is really picked up. It's the highest growth month that they have. At the end of the month into August, they're going to start tapering off now, and by the end of August they will be stop growing. I mean, they're not going to grow a whole lot more from where they are at the end of the month. So what you're seeing in your trail cam pictures come August 1st isn't going to be too much different than what you
Hmm.
see September 1st probably. And
So,
I
oh, they
and
don't
you,
grow that
you
much, and so in August they're not going to
not
grow that. I
not
was
as
going to ask
much,
you if you got one that
not
looks
as
like a
much.
real nice buck in the middle of July. I mean, how many more inches you think?
It's hard to say. I mean, they can grow, a few more inches, in through the whole rest of the season. But in August,
Mhm.
slowing down quite a bit. In July, they're still growing at a pretty rapid rate. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I love I thoroughly enjoy looking at game cam pics, and a lot of guys. I don't have the cellular cameras yet because a lot
yeah,
of times we just don't really have that good a service out at our ranch, which I'm fine with. I enjoy going out and pulling the cards and giving back to
right.
my camper and putting it in there and looking. But yeah, I had there's one. I'm gonna say I would definitely get him with my bow. I mean, heck, even a rifle is a whitetail buck.
Hmm.
But once the swathers came through and the balers, I didn't
Yeah,
see him anymore. So I think he
right.
might have. I don't know. I mean, what do you think they do? They just go find a different spot where they bed down. How far away do you think that would chase them away, Wayne?
Their summer patterns. They're in their fields. They're kind of all over, and it's pretty. They're pretty calm and not stressed because they haven't been pressured at all. Now
Hmm.
that summer pattern, you're going to find them through that in August. Now coming up, you're going to see them using that summer pattern. By mid-September, they'll change that summer pattern, and I'm talking primarily mule deer. I think the same is kind of for the whitetails as well. So they'll change that pretty rapidly, and they'll start. It seems like to me, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but for mule deer especially, if you see a group of four white butts like a mile away on a
Hmm.
hillside, I just have a tendency to find muley bucks in groups of four. And if I see all those white butts and say, hey, I got to go get a closer look because there's four of them. Now, if there'd be three or if there'd be more, like six, um, have a tendency to be does for some reason. And it's kind of weird, but
You
groups
never
of
did
four,
tell me that before, but you
bucks
know,
kind of travel in groups of four as far as I'm concerned. They
now
do a
that you
lot.
say
Yeah.
that, I actually thinking back when you said that, I was kind of just going through my mind of, I think that is you're onto something there, for sure. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Could be. I don't know, but it could be just me.
So. I'm going to see what happens when I go up there again, and I'm going to be going up
Yeah.
again. So Levi's got a question here for you. Levi, he was on the show too. Good dude here, Levi Nelson. He says, Wayne, how come some deer have really bulbed ends yet, while others look almost completely finished out?
That could be just a nutritional thing that they are. I really don't know at this point in time, why some are like that. Um, just the growing phase of each deer is a little bit different. And but they'll all kind of, it's surprising, you get these rounded bubbled ends like Levi's talking about late
Mhm.
in the year, and then a week later they shed their velvet and they're pointed and they're sharp, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So does that mean
that's
on a muley, if you see them, are they just gonna have the freaking crab claws when you see that, like in the middle of July, or is there
not
a chance that they're
necessarily.
still gonna open up?
No, well, if you get the crab claws later in August or something, they're not going to grow too
Mhm.
much more.
Right.
They're going to
Yeah.
be a
Yeah. I'm
crab
saying if
claw.
you see it in
Now,
July, if there's still a, because I,
you're going to get some inches out of those, though. I took a picture of some muley bucks that were younger buck. He had the crab claw on the front. It was a big 3 pointer, and I had him at 40 yards or so, and yeah, he'll grow. He'll get some inches on those crab claws, but probably, not as much as what people think. I mean, it's starting this time of year, it's already the 25th. You have
mhm. Yeah,
maybe
it's
a
late.
week left of this month. Man, it's crazy going
It's
fast.
going. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. I
yeah, it
noticed that
is.
too. So Eric says, "Do you notice that the whitetails change patterns drastically as soon as they shed velvet? They do here." And Eric lives down South Dakota, but the muleys don't change too much on patterns. Muleys around my place stay in the same place. See where I'm at, Wayne. Muleys move around a lot. I mean, once usually when rifle season starts at our place,
Hmm.
that seems like when they're mostly coming in there. And I mean, I got people who live around there that they pattern them a lot better than me. But to
Yeah.
me, just by going and scouting and glass and everything, it seems every once in a while I will get years where they are there, but usually they're not.
Well,
Usually they're not around there. The
you know,
bucks.
when I'm scouting during the summer season and such, I have a tendency, I'll find those same bucks in those areas throughout the first part of September. But then if you keep on looking in those areas, those deer have moved. Now they're
Hmm.
gone into their winter patterns, and they may stay, close by through into the month of October. But once they start getting into a little bit of a rut phase where they start, yeah, getting some hierarchy and pushing deer around, others bucks around,
Hmm.
then they start moving off into their other areas. And where you find them during bow season is not normally where you find them during gun season. That's what I found anyway. So
Hmm.
don't get caught up. I think, there's always a possibility you're going to find those deer in the same areas all year, but don't get caught up if you don't find them there. Keep on looking, of course, looking where they may be in the wintertime. It seems like they're on the alfalfa fields now, and they're moving through. They're moving off alfalfa fields into the basins, into the creek bottoms and such. Um,
Well, they
yeah.
start. When do they start doing that?
Well, they're starting to do that now. They're
Right
getting in.
now?
If
Okay.
you see them in the alfalfa fields, if you see a lot of pictures online, you have muley bucks standing out in the open. Where are they at? They're in the fields. They're out grazing someplace, and they're out during the daytime hours. And then once it gets a little bit later on, you're going to have that. They're going to get a little bit more early, very early in the morning and very late at night for your bigger bucks. But then they're going to get into the areas where they see more does or follow the does during the rutting season, such. So yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
just got to
Yeah,
keep after it.
I uh I I went out. I got to admit, I've been kind of slacking on my mule deer scouting. I've been kind of relying on the cameras here, which I am getting some whitetails. Like I said, well, I got one nice buck, but there's one couple other dinks, and our doe population's way down. So I'm seeing those. But as far as the muley bucks go, I'm just kind of. My dad's got a few places he was cutting hay down with his, and he said he saw a few decent ones. So I'm gonna kind of try that. We got some land up north of our regular place, and there's other guys up there who got some stuff. So he's just kind of keeping an eye on it for me. But when I go up there, I mean, I'm gonna get more serious in August when I'm not going on the pontoon all the time on the weekends and uh, and get into it. So you got that going. What do you do? Are you starting to shoot your bow, Wayne, or are you just kind of a guy who shoots that sucker all year? Or do you wait around and
I try to shoot on a regular basis, but this year it's been a little bit more lax. I think it was probably beginning of end of June, beginning of July, I started shooting on a regular basis. I try to shoot, 2 or 3 times a week, and
okay?
and w- but what I've gotten into doing is I'll go out and I'll shoot like 30 arrows or 40 arrows max usually, and I start at 60 yards and I'll shoot 10, two ends 5 each time. 10 at 60, I'll shoot 10 at 50, and I'll shoot 10 at 40. But what I do, I try and make it quality shots, and if a guy's that doesn't shoot all the time, if once you shoot 30 arrows, now all of a sudden you're gonna start struggling and you pick up bad habits, and then
Hmm.
you're starting from square one. So I just kind of limit myself to like 30 arrows and do it 2 or 3 times a week, 4 times a week. I didn't shoot today. It's first time this week I didn't shoot,
Well, I
but
don't blame you for getting out today. I mean, I
yeah,
like the
yeah.
heat, but most people don't.
But yeah, so yeah, that's what I try to do. Get quality shots. And
Hmm.
then this year I put on some lighted knocks. John
Yeah.
Armand, he talked about some lighted knocks when we were on actually last time. And I tried some, and he said, "Yeah, they're very close to your regular arrows. Well, they're heavier, and it changes your arrow a little bit. It
Okay.
changes your um, FOC, your front of center a little bit, and but you just make some little adjustments with your sighting in, and they're fine. They're kind of cool to have, I
Have
guess.
you ever just set them on like a reloading scale and seen how much the difference in weight compared to your regular line?
Yeah, these were about 15 grains actually difference.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
I wouldn't have guessed.
yeah.
That is quite a bit actually.
Because I was at my arrows were at 430. No, let's see, what were they? Yeah, they were at 435, and they went to 450. And
Wow.
then my front of center was about at 16%, and it dropped it back to about what was it, about 14% or something like that. And it's nice to have front of center in between that
So what
12
does
and
that mean if
16.
somebody doesn't know what front to center means
Well,
on?
what the front of center is it's your weight front of your center balance point of your arrow. And if
Okay.
you think of this as the more weight if you have more weight forward, that arrow is going to fly better going forward. It's like a jet. If you have a jet and you have a jet that's really heavy in the back, that's going to be wobbling all over. But if you have weight in the front, that pulls it through. Think of one of those footballs with the fins on the back.
Yeah.
Those little water
Yeah, all the
footballs.
ball, yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a mortar round. It's all
yeah,
in weight's all in
exactly. And
front, the
that's
fins
the
are in the.
mortar round is a perfect example. That weight is forward. They fly straight. They don't wobble as much.
Mhm.
So by getting that weight forward, you're getting nice penetration. You're getting that arrow going forward, and not being pushed. It's probably pulling the arrow kind of
Mhm.
forward if you
I
think
mean, I
about
can
it.
take
So
one of them and throw it like 100 yards too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't wobble.
Yeah.
And you throw a spiral with it, right? Yeah,
Right, perfect
yeah,
spiral, 100 yards, just go
yeah.
back to the other end zone and
and
yeah.
and that's actually something that a point well put there is you don't need as much fletch if you have a lot of forward center weight.
Mhm.
So I mean it's something to think about as
Makes
well.
sense. Yeah, I
But
mean, I do use, as you know, I got a crossbow, and I love the freaking lighted knocks. I don't understand why anybody wouldn't use those. To me, is there any?
yeah,
I mean, do you know people who won't use them? Because most people, bow hunters I know, are like, yeah, I love those things. I don't. I mean, you can see that arrow going even at crossbow speeds. You can watch that
yeah,
thing.
it's really nice to see, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to. I think Pope and Young now has it that they're allowed, and I just as a matter of fact, North Dakota is now allowing sighted lighted sight pins
Yep.
this year.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome. I
and that's
never
good.
got why they didn't want that either. That only made perfect sense to me.
Yeah, and Pope and Young, they've been kind of a little reluctant on that because the fact is that they don't want to encourage after hours shooting
Right.
or
I get what
before
they're
light
getting.
shooting,
Yeah,
and that's understandable.
I see what
It's
they're getting
very
at.
traditional based when you talk about Pope and Young, how they've evolved, and they're trying to keep up. So we just had a vote as regular members, which I am, and they asked us about that. So
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
voted to say yes, let's do this. And North Dakota already had it in their books, and they had been in touch with actually Pope and Young as well this year, asking what their thoughts are. So it's something that is going to come, I think, very good for the hunter out there. If you
Mhm.
try to shoot out of a blind when it's dark out, and Levi would probably attest to this, it's really
Yeah.
hard sometimes to shoot out of a dark blind, seeing your pins. So
Yeah,
that's good.
I can honestly say the two. the 2 bucks that I've got with my crossbow, I mean, it helped me find my freaking bolt. You know, I went through and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
how the hell am I going to find it? My dad actually found the second one on the mule deer I got. I'm like, I don't know where the hell that is, Dad.
Yeah.
He looked around, he found it funny. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think that, and the lighted or the lighted pins. I mean, like I said, I know what you're saying about getting close to dark, but man, I mean, I mean, there is a borderline there, right? Like
Yeah.
people are going to
It's
take a
gonna.
later shot, but I mean,
Yeah.
it helps you see so much better.
Is it really going to stop those who want to shoot after dark anyway?
Yeah, I
Probably
mean, they're going to
not.
let it fly anyways,
Yeah.
and then I
Yeah.
mean, the trouble with that is if they don't have a lighted, the drops, they're going to shoot it in the gut or something. Then you're never
Yeah.
going to find the sucker. So
Yeah. I just need the lighted nocks so that I can find my arrows after I miss because
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're
I have
way better.
searched. I have searched. I missed about 170-inch buck about 5 years ago, and I have no idea what happened in that shot. And I didn't have a lighted knock, and I think if I
Mhm.
would have, probably would have seen what happened. I never found my arrow. Couldn't find it. I hunted that buck several times afterwards, so I know he wasn't hit, and I did see that right away. But
Mhm.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean,
So
if anybody shot tracers out of a rifle, I mean, to me, that's what the light you
yeah,
can
sure.
watch. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a super cool factor to it. I mean,
yeah, it
what
is.
color do you like to use, the red or the green? I like the greens
I like
actually.
the green. Red, I have a problem with seeing red
Yeah,
sometimes. Well,
yeah.
yeah, it's human nature that men are more red colorblind if they have anything colorblind. I'm not colorblind, but it's
Mhm.
harder to see red,
I mean,
especially in light.
right, the human eye can see green. I mean, even like red dot sights on pistols and
Yeah.
rifles. I mean, your eye can pick it
Hmm.
up better.
Yeah.
And so, all right, Wayne, I'll tell you what, we're at 420 or 420. Yeah, no, I'm not a pothead. We're 20 after. I'm gonna hit our first commercial, and we got a few comments in here. We're gonna hit on when we get back, but. I'm trying to click on these folders here. Remember I told you that I got these folders here that the guys did for me? And
Yeah.
I'm not quite super handy with these here yet. So, all right, here we go. Let's see here. All right, right back. Videos. Sorry. I'm sorry if I'm stalling here, Wayne. You want to talk about anything you want about the light? Here, all right, hold on here. I'm going to
Okay.
go back to the main page, Wayne.
Okay.
And I'm going to play this first commercial ad, and we'll come back. I seen Levi had a
Sounds good.
comment there, and a couple other guys, and then we're going to hit
Sure.
to it. So, all right, here we go. Here we go with first ad. Here, we'll be right back.
Your war face. Ah! War face. Now let me see your war face. Ah! You don't scare me.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck, Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right, we're back. Wayne Muth, outdoor writer. Wayne, you got a lot of good deer information, man. I can see why you're an outdoor writer. I love it, man. You got a lot of stuff
Thank
that's
you.
interesting and it's good info for sure. And if you saw the sponsors there, guys, if you do any business
Yeah.
with our sponsors, tell them, hey, you heard it on Guns in the 701 or 701 Nation. They appreciate hearing it. I was just down Double H the other day talking to them. And guys said, yeah, we got guys coming here saying they hear it on there, and you know what, that helps them and it helps us. So, all right,
Yeah.
let's get to a few comments here quick, Wayne.
Sure.
You got something you want to hit on?
No, just I used Bloodline Kinetics first for getting my barrels cut, and they did a great job. And
Awesome. Yeah.
great working with them. I've got one more to take to them. So yeah, it's good to support the guys that are supporting us
So
online.
did you?
Yeah.
Before I forget, and I hate to, but did you ever get your suppressor yet? I know you did.
Not yet, not yet.
No.
But mine is the trust, so it's going to take a little
Okay.
longer. And apparently those are coming through faster too. But I'll have to wait. Hopefully it gets here by
I
deer
know
season.
my buddy went in like 2 or 3 days after I bought mine at because I went in right after you did, pretty much at Mandan
Hmm.
Sporting Goods. And I got mine in a couple days, and my buddy went in after that, and I think he's picking them up now. I think, but that took so about 3 months it took him, which everybody must have went in and flooded them. But I mean, 3 months even now compared to what it was. He didn't get a truss like you did, but I mean, you should probably get yours before the season starts anyway. So for rifle,
I hope so. My son has a moose tag, so we are looking at. He's going to shoot my 300 Winchester mag, so it'd be nice to have that.
oh, for sure
Yeah,
for that. Yeah,
yeah,
great
yeah,
cartridge. But yeah, I mean, definitely suppressors.
yeah,
So Levi says this time of year is basically taking inventory and trying to find a pattern to plan for archery opener.
yeah.
Yep.
Exactly
Okay.
right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. And all right, Scully Muldoon, which is our man Deacon, said good quality video on there over on Twitch, for sure. Eric Newman said he'd probably just too tight to buy the lighted Knox. Yeah, I mean, what's three of them cost? They're about $30, right?
they're
25.
expensive. They're
Yeah,
expensive.
I mean, you
Yeah,
don't want
they
to
are.
lose one for sure, but man, Eric, tell your wife to get you some for your birthday or
Yeah, there you go.
Father's Day's gone. But Levi says lighted pins would be great, but states like Montana still haven't allowed it, so I won't be putting one on until more states allow it.
Yeah, and that's a
Yeah,
good point. That's a good point because you don't want to be flopping back and forth or,
right.
having to.
I mean, that's a pain
Yeah.
in the butt. And then you got to, I mean, just like changing something up on your rifle scope or something would suck.
Hmm.
Gene Cox, he's here. What's up, Gene? And I did get one shot cap. I saw you. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you tuning in tonight. Eric Newman 420. What are you, Kamala voter? LOL. I know. Just shop those bills. That's what I said. I'm not a pothead. I don't know what 420 got in my head, but Lynette K. Hey, JD, watching on Facebook. Yeah, I saw that. That's
Nice.
awesome, man. I mean, maybe they finally reviewed my appeal and they reversed it. One shot caps is if a hunter would take a record book deer like a state record, does Boone and Crockett or Pope and Young have them take a lie detector test?
No, they do not. I mean, you're going off the integrity of the hunter, and they sign a fair chase affidavit that they took it in fair chase. So, um, I mean, that doesn't stop people if they want to enter it illegally
Right.
or something. So, but yeah, you're keeping the honest people honest, and I think if go sooner or later, it seems like it's found out somewhere down the road. So, yeah,
Yeah. 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 I'm just like guys who cheat on all these fishing contests and then they make them,
yeah,
internet famous and they got to hide their face and shame the rest of their life. So,
yeah, exactly, exactly.
I
It's
mean,
a
it's
good point.
tempting
Good
sometimes,
point.
right? But I mean, you're just like, it ain't
Yeah,
worth it, man. It ain't
yeah, that's
worth
for
it.
sure.
So,
Yeah,
Antelope lottery came out, Wayne, right? And the
yeah,
numbers came out for them, and everybody can apply. So all units are open. I thought I had a few points. The last time I had a tag was 2020 when I went to Scott Bachmeyer's down and got my Antelope right away there. And I thought I applied a few times, but I didn't. I had no points, but our unit was open again. So
really. Yeah.
I did apply. I mean, maybe I'll get lucky. I doubt it. It took me 7 points last time. But you know what? I didn't get a buck tag. I didn't get a doe tag.
Mm.
So yeah, I got nothing. So maybe my luck's gonna change. It was 0 points on the antelope tag.
Yeah, we've got a few points here in our family. Judy, my wife's got 10, so hopefully she'll
Oh
get drawn
man,
this year.
10.
And Yeah, I know, and I've got I think a half a dozen or so. And it's good, and the populations are up. I think they're giving out what 1,260
Yeah,
some. Okay,
yeah, it was up
compared to
30%. They said,
yeah, it
right,
was
from
like I
last.
think they only gave out like 420 last year or something.
Yeah, it
So
was.
it's dramatically increasing, and there's more units that are open. I think there's 8 more units that are open this
Yeah,
year than
I think
last
they're
year.
all open now,
So
right? Every
I think
unit's
so.
open now,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
I mean,
So
to me, I didn't think I was seeing as many around our place. I saw more quality ones. I mean,
yeah.
there's a buck up there. I mean, his body, he looks like a freaking mule deer. It's the biggest antelope body I ever seen. I mean,
Mhm.
his horns ain't bad either. 'Cause, right, antelope have horns and deer have
Yeah.
antlers actually.
There
So
you go. Yeah, very good. Very good. There's a difference.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gene said he's going to use his 25-06 this year if he gets the tag. They're kind of tight with the tags down here. Yeah, I mean
Mm,
25-06 for an antelope would
that's
be
perfect.
that's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Because they're flat shooting and they're out there, and you don't got like a really huge bullet. So
Yeah.
I
I've
think
always wanted a 25-06, never got around to getting one. So then when the 6.5s came out, I got one of those instead. So
you can't go wrong with a 6.5 either.
no, you
Honestly,
can't
I mean
really.
6. I mean it's
Yeah.
people make fun of it and say it's a man bun, but man, it's that sucker
Hey,
that
hey, I
sucker
don't
just
know. Hey, if I can't have a man bun here, I got to have it someplace, right?
Yeah, that sucker just works, man. And the recoil is low, and there's so many
Yeah.
bullets. I think just because it got so popular that I don't know
Yeah.
anybody who owns one that doesn't like it. One
Yeah.
guy, I guess I do, but other than that, no.
I tell you what, when I first got it, I've shot a couple antelope like in the 300 range and 300-yard range. And I had a crosswind, really big crosswind one time. And I
Mhm.
thought I was going to have to really make some allowances for that. And it was amazing how little effect the wind had on that at 300 yards. And that was really kind of another feather in the cap to the 6.5
Yeah.
that I found. It was just ballistics coefficients are so good on those.
What
So that's
bullet
really nice.
and rifle were you using there then?
Well, I use a Tika T3,
Perfect.
and I shoot the 120,
I'm laughing at
the
a
S
comment here.
the SSTs, the 129 grain SSTs. So I really
Awesome.
like those. I shot the 140 grain, and my brother shot those, and I thought there was and if I hunted bigger game, I probably would do that, but they seem a lot
Oh,
slower.
for sure
Yeah,
they are. Yeah, if
yeah,
you're going 129 S of that Tika, that thing's probably
yeah,
going 28, almost 29, and then 140s you're going 20. My
yeah.
dad likes to use 140s, and we've chronoed them, and
Hmm.
he's a yeah, and yeah. I don't know. There's a point where something's just too slow for me. It's just a head game probably for me, but I
Yeah,
just
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, there's not it's 6.5. So I'm gonna read this comment Eric's got here. He says
Sure.
6.5 and crossbows go hand in hand. LOL.
Oh,
Ah, yeah.
Levi, yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Levi said 300 Win Mags are antelope's big medicine. Yeah, my buddy actually Chris Couch shot one with a 300 once over by center. I don't know what ammo he was using, but it damn near took the thing in half. It was a 300 I
I've
actually sold to him.
I've taken a couple antelope with the 300, and it was because we just had to reach out and touch someone, and um, I didn't hesitate, so it was kind of
So
nice.
what was the impact like on that one then?
They didn't go far.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have a marginal hit, they still don't go far.
Yeah,
So that's one
that
of the
is one
things.
thing for sure.
Yeah,
7mm makes 7M. They got the 7 PRC now and all that. But
yeah,
so one more thing on the Creed before we go here. My brother-in-law actually got he got one in the Browning, and he was shooting. I think it's what is the horn? The ELDX, the Hunter, 143 grain, I believe.
yeah, yeah. I think
And
that's
the
it.
best shot he ever made on a deer for sure. This muley buck was out the ranch there. I was like I don't know, 340 or something. I wasn't up there, but I came up and they skinned it out, and I'm like, throw the carcass in the pit there, and I'll burn it. And went there, man. I was like, damn, he wasn't kidding. That sucker went in right through the heart, and that thing came out probably about I want to say about the size of the top of this mug here. About 3.5 inches. But yeah, that sucker went all the way through at that range,
Yeah,
and I said, well, what happened when you hit it? He said, just dropped down on his knees and tipped over. It was
yeah.
great. So yeah, he's a
One of the
big
things with the 300 Winchester mag, when you're talking about that is I shoot 180 grain. I shoot that for everything, so I don't have to readjust anything. So
Yep.
it's
And
kind of
what kind of
nice that
bullet?
way.
Soft point, ballistic tip, monolithic?
It's not the ballistic tip. It's the other nozzler partition.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Is that still a soft point then, or does that
yeah.
got
This
like
is
the?
still a soft point. Yeah.
See, I'm kind of getting back to the soft points. I kind of got away from them, but like Daryl down at H&H kind of got me back on them, and I'm like, God, I forgot how good these things shoot, and how good they work, and
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody we did some gel tests on them, even out of the 223 at 200 yards. I'm like, man, I wouldn't be afraid to even smoke a big muley with it at that.
Right.
With
I
those.
had I had bought some they were ballistic tip the first ones when they first came out. They were green
Mhm.
tipped, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. 30
And
cals green tip.
I tell you what, I had some issues with those because I shot one a buck kind of angling a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, hit it right in the shoulder, and the bullet actually tracked all the way up the side of the neck rather
Hmm.
than penetrating the chest cavity, and it expands too much too fast.
Yeah.
And
If you hit a
then
bone, it screws it up.
yeah, that's so I kind of went away from them for a while and till some of these newer ones came out. So
I did that. Like I shot, when I was hunting with my 308 AR with that 16-inch barrel, and I was shooting the 125 Nosser ballistic tips. And I mean, if you hit them, without hitting a
mhm.
bow, and it was freaking money. They
Yeah,
went
it's
down.
devastating.
But
Yeah,
I did shoot one. I thought he was down. I distinctly remember I was
yeah,
texting my buddy Travis, and I turned around and I was like, "What?" And he was getting up on his knees because I shot him in the neck, and it was like 210 yards, and
yeah.
well, that
One
didn't
thing
work. I had to give him another one.
and one thing they're super accurate though. That's one of
Yeah,
the things that you
yeah,
get
and
out
that's
of
what
those.
got
They're
me to it,
super accurate.
and
Yeah.
and they, yeah, yeah. But I'm definitely going back to and all my guns really,
Hmm.
the soft points. It's I don't know, and they're cheap. They're cheaper than the ballistic tips, really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they are.
all right. So Gene Cox says, JD, well, you're on the horn and antler thing. The pronghorn is the only member of its family in North America. Yeah, I do believe that's correct, right, Wayne?
Yeah, of that type. Yeah.
So how
It's not
far
ac-
have you ever been up to like Alberta, Canada? Because it looks like on maps like there's a big population of them up there, and that's kind of goes down all the way down into Texas and Mexico, really, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I haven't been up there, so I
Because I'd like
don't
to
know
see
that
some of these
much.
Alberta antelope because all the deer up there got like these huge
Oh, I know
freaking
they're
bodies on
huge.
them. It's just you
Huge.
see
Yeah.
you see them, and I mean you see a big bodied
Yeah.
deer on here, even you're like, man, I think I want to shoot him.
Yeah.
Antlers are okay, but his body's huge. So Josh
Yeah.
Patterson says my boy's going to try for an antelope tag this year. He's going to try to get it with his bow if he gets it right. And bow, actually, if you do draw an antelope tag right away, and that opens up the same weekend that deer bow does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The last tag I had, that's what I did. I just went down and I actually took a nice Pope and Young buck with a bow down there. It's nice to do that, find them and they're not pushed around. It's a little bit easier to get up on them, but
Do you
and I
go in?
don't,
Oh,
I
you
don't.
you stock them? Is that what you do with
Yeah,
them, or how do you how do you?
I've taken I don't know, 8 or 10 antelope with a bow, I suppose, and I've not shot one out of a blind. I've always
Mhm.
spot and stock or decoy. Decoying is a lot of fun.
I've never bow hunted antelope. I've gotten I don't know, two or three. It was all rifle, and my buddies have. But yeah, I mean, a lot of guys up by Golden Valley they want to do that,
Yeah.
and I don't know. If I get one, if I was lucky enough, I might try. But the thing about bow hunting for me is I just the patience for it, man. I just a lot of guys like that and about it, and me, I'm just like. I can do it for about an hour, like if I'm spotting and stalking, and I'm going. "Ugh." I did get my
Yeah.
muley on a spot and stock though, which
Good job.
which is pretty
That's good.
awesome. It took me like 2.5, 3 hours, but my whitetail was a blind. I would honestly tell you, I would definitely rather spot and stalk than sit in a tree
Yeah.
stand or a ground blind. No, I sat in a tree stand with my brother-in-law once, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't think I'm ever doing that again.
I like tree stand hunting. I enjoy that, but um,
I mean, we
just
didn't see that
the,
much coming in. That might have
yeah,
affected it too. If you're not
yeah.
seeing any action, it sucks. But
When you get out there and where we hunt, it's just spot and stock and doing
hmm
that. And maybe the older I get, I can't get around as much more, so I'll have to get into a tree
so
stand or something.
how do you spot and stalk the antelope then? I mean, you just don't belly crawl, do you?
Yeah, actually, the last one I shot, I spotted him. He was feeding in a little low spot, and I had enough cover on the opposite side of that to get up there. So he was at like 125 yards. I was able to get to him initially and kind of get my pattern taken into account. And there was a yucca plant about um, I think it was about 100 yards where I was. I ranged this yucca plant. It was like 59 yards on the opposite side of this ridge. So I said, okay, if I can get to that, that's within my wheelhouse. It's 40 yards or less. So
Perfect.
then I was crawling hands and knees, and you're down on your knuckles and such, and through the rocks and the grass and the stickers and such, and I got down and I peeked up, and he was still there, and I ranged him. It was 40 yards, and I went down, drew my bow, and then as you're coming up, he looked up and he looked directly at me, and he was facing me, and I just set my pin right in on his brisket and let go, and the arrow hit probably an inch, half inch higher than maybe what I was aiming at 40 yards, and he dropped right there. And I'm going, ooh,
Perfect.
ooh, this stuff works.
Yeah, that's
It's nice,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So that's the only one I've had that has dropped right there, antelope. But usually, if you decoy them in, they'll come tearing in, and you got to be ready to take the shot when they get close.
So when's it? Yeah, is what like when's the antelope rut?
Starting that 10th of the month is there a little bit of a pre-rut to
In
the
August
15th,
here?
and it's September.
Okay.
September, yeah. And then 15th is probably their peak of their rut. But what's really kind of cool, if you get out there from the 10th to the 15th, it's kind of very similar to the elk. If you're not one to just go for the biggest one and just want to
Mhm.
have a lot of fun,
Mhm.
you get out there and hunt those satellite bucks, because those satellite bucks will come tearing in, and man,
Aggressive. That's
they
fun.
get aggressive. Yeah, they come flying in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, the older I get, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I never want to shoot a dink or something like that. But
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I'll see something, and I'll be like, yeah, I mean, I'll take that one.
yeah.
And some of my buddies like, what? Yeah, I don't mind. It's a
We
nice
had
deer.
we had a couple bucks that were fighting in this alfalfa field with round bales. We were able to get probably within 70 yards or so. And finally, we put the decoy on the outside of the bale, and we'd shake the decoy. So they finally look at it, and the one bigger buck turned and he came tearing right at this thing. And I had drew and I was aiming at him, and I was waiting, and I was about ready to let go, and he turns and just never
Oh,
got a shot.
you got it. He realized at the
Yeah,
last second there it was
like
phony, and he
at
blew out of it.
25 yards, he just took a turn, and it
Ah,
was like a cutting horse, just took off.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man, that
yeah.
works
I
so
mean,
well. That
oh,
decoy, you
it
just kind of
does.
shake
Oh,
it
it does.
around, and
Yeah, you something just get their attention. But I found if you get too close, you can spook them, and so you have to be careful about that. I like to say about 100 yards is good. We've got them at 100 yards, and if you can get them stuck in the ground in front of you. I've had it where I've stuck it in the ground and the wind is
Mhm.
blowing and the antelope are starting to come around to the
Yeah.
side, and all of a sudden the decoy falls over, and it's like,
Oh no, yeah, you're all
there they
fired up.
go.
They're coming in. I got
Yeah,
them, and they tip. Oh, so
decoy falls
how
over. Yeah.
how far of like are you comfortable with shooting with your bow?
I'll shoot out to 60 yards if I have a standing target and they don't know I'm around. If they're looking at you, they're going to jump the string.
Right, right.
I don't care how fast your bow is, they're going to jump the string.
Yeah,
So,
even a crossbow, they'll do it. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. So, I like to stay, that 40 yards and under. Even, for mule deer, for example, if you get to under 30 yards, now you're putting yourself in jeopardy unless you actually
mhm,
have to get to that point to shoot it. But if you've got it at 40 yards and you've got a clear shot and you're comfortable there, take that shot. If you
mhm,
try to get closer, now you're going to have more opportunity to screw something up, and
mhm.
they can see you easier the closer you get to. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean that's what I got my mule at. There's no way I could. I got busted actually by some
Yeah.
little spikers out where and I didn't. I
Right.
seen them down way below, and I didn't think they see me. And then when there was four of them, like you said, the four of them got up,
Yeah.
and then I looked down there and I seen them two. There was two or three of them down there. I can't remember staring up at me, and I'm like, God damn it, they freaking seeing me. There's no way. But
Yeah.
they didn't win me, but one of them must have saw me somehow, and I thought,
Sure.
but.
Yeah.
I ended up shooting the muley that I wanted a different one, but I was happy either way because I never got one with my bow before. So.
We were antelope hunting down southwest part of the state, and I glassed 4 muley bucks, and they bedded down on this rolling hillside, and the wind was blowing pretty high, and I was able to get around to 35 yards, but I didn't want to get any closer. They're all bedded, and I could have got closer and probably got them, a little better shot, but I elected to go right there, and I was able to raise up and shoot the biggest one out of the bunch, but it doesn't always happen that way. But
No, but
you gotta
it's
find
nice when it
find that
does.
find that red zone for yourself, and where you're really comfortable, and don't go probably beyond that unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah. So yesterday I got a new crossbow, and I was out at my buddy Axel's place, and we were shooting it, and 80 yards. I was on pretty good. The 100 grain didn't. I mean, they were accurate, but they didn't line up real good with the drops and with the sight. So I went to 125s like it didn't, and they did. But I'm just like, God, and I shoot it, and it just, even with we chronoed it, it's 370, and I'm like, man, even
Wow.
at 80, it's right on the money. But I'm like, that takes a long time in my mind to get there. A deer would hear that, because it ain't as quiet as a vertical bow by any means.
No.
And they'd hear that, and I'm afraid they'd duck it or you'd get a bad shot. So I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, a coyote or something, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to let this thing go and see what happens. But a deer,
Yeah,
I would rather shoot it at 15 yards than, I got that sucker
definitely.
at 80. Yeah.
Yeah, I've shot them at 17 yards. I've shot them at 55 yards. Last year, actually, I had a buck that he jumped a string. It's the first time I've really ever had one, but it was so quiet that night. It was in the evening, and he just ducked a little bit, and it's really kind of odd because I have a very quiet bow, and but it's still, he was able to duck it, and it was like at probably about 50 yards. So there
Yeah.
again, I couldn't get any closer. That's the only shot I had at him. So
I haven't shot it enough of them to have them duck it, but like I said, it at that range, I'm fairly confident if they could do it easily. But all right, I'll tell you what, I got some comments here we're going to get to, but we're going to go back. We're going to hit our big ad here. So if you're going out to get yourself a fresh toddy or use a bathroom, turn your stereo or turn your computer up so you can hear everything real good when you're in there, because I want everybody to hear the ads for our sponsors. But we do got a lot of comments coming in here. I'm struggling with this deal here again, Wayne, so forgive me. All right, here we go. Right here. This is going to be the longer ad here. It's our quadruple. We got all of our stuff on here, guys, so we'll be back. I'm going to say this is going to take about 4 or 5 minutes, so we'll be right back.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck, Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a concept constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventure starts here.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger, to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
Yeah, hey, look, I got the moves like Michael, the flow like Aubrey, walk around thinking I'm a prince like Saudi. Mismatched Converse, t-shirts tucked in, know my worth, can't tell me nothing. White Nikes, albino, can cop my stilo, head to the top, bottom line is a motto.
All right, we're back, and I didn't hit the right one to get my other sponsor in there, Double H Guns, down at Double H Guns here on South Washington. Get down there, Daryl. I use all kinds of bullets from Daryl. Daryl, he's got everything you need down there. He doesn't have suppressors, but you get guns, ammo, scope, everything, all your reloading supplies down there. Just was in there today. Got all kinds of guys are in there looking at shotguns. He's got tons of reloading stuff in there too. So. Get down there to Double H. Apologize, I didn't get that ad up there, but
Sure. Do they carry blanks for 45 Colt down there?
I'll tell you what, if Daryl doesn't, he will, because he's definitely into that kind of stuff. If you're looking for like older firearms too, I mean, he has new, but Daryl's definitely into the older stuff. He loves that. Yeah. And then like something like a 45 Colt, because you did that with. We're going to talk about that in 1 second here, Wayne. What sure. Wayne's getting at is some mounted shooting. Actually, I think is what you're angling at here. But okay, so Gene says my first antelope ever was with an SKS, kind of like a crossbow. Oh, just like a crossbow, Gene. It's just like a rifle, man. Eric Newman says spot and stock all the way. Can't sit still long enough. Yep, I'm with you, Eric. Yeah, one shot cap. Any guys ever get a Robin Hood? I got one. I did get one with my crossbow one time, and I did wreck a few of the Fletch on. Is that what they still call them, Wayne? Fletch?
Yeah, fletching. Yeah. Okay. I've had a Robin Hood too, but I've ruined a lot of arrows too. When you shoot the nocks and the backs of them off or split them and such. Yeah.
So do you put your own back on there, to do all that stuff?
We used to do it. I just take it over to Shields and they help me out with that.
What do they? So I did that with my bow. I mean, what would they charge a guy to put? You think?
I think it's probably about $4 a Fletch.
Oh, really? It's that much? Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose they got to line them right up on there and glue them back on.
Yeah. It depends on which Fletch you have too, I believe. Like some are more expensive than others, but.
I wouldn't. So one more question about bow here before we move on to what do you use? Do you use a mechanical or fixed? What do you like better?
I've always used the fixed blade. I've had great luck with it. I've shot elk and bear and mule deer and antelope and whitetails and turkeys and such. Recently, I have gone to mechanicals for turkeys because I like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to try some out last year for deer with mechanicals. And I didn't get a chance to do that. But this year, I think I'll probably try them, and see.
I mean, is it true that they're more accurate? Because that's what
Yeah,
the
they
guys at
are.
Shields and the guys at Runnings told me the same thing.
They're more accurate because you can get. I shouldn't say that. If you have your bow tuned really well and you've got a fixed blade, I have a 3 blade Rockies that I shoot, and they fly very well. So the accuracy piece is mute for me, I guess, but it takes a lot longer to get that thing to fly real well with a fixed blade. Whereas if you could throw a mechanical on any arrow and you're going to have good flight with it, so you don't have to
Okay.
mess with it as much. Don't have to be that concerned about it. There's definite advantages to fixed blades, though I feel so.
So to me, it would
Yeah.
seem like a mechanical opens up with that bigger. I mean, did you ever notice that one kills better than the other, or is it?
I haven't killed anything with the mechanical on that piece of it, but I tell you what, with those fixed blades, I've had deer that have gone 10 yards and fallen over,
Hmm.
and so yeah, you can, as long as you hit them well, they're going to be good. I shot a buck bedded once, and a whitetail buck who's bedded, and he went through both shoulder blades at fixed blade. And I
Dang.
have the shoulder blades that I boiled out to prove the point that this went straight through. And my son was with me at the time, and yeah,
Awesome.
and so the more mechanical movement that's in there, the less penetration you get. Yeah, you get a big
Hmm.
hole, and you see a lot of guys on TV that shoot them, and they're going to have 10 inches of penetration. Well, that's a lot of penetration for a great big 2-inch cut. So you're going to
Hmm.
get a lot of bleeding in there. But having two holes is also a big advantage of getting a pass through. For our bears, when we go up bear hunting, we like to get pass throughs, and that's really an advantage as well. So, yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
a personal preference, but I like my fixed blades.
I know my whitetail I shot with my that was at 19 yards, and it went right through one shoulder
Mhm.
and came. I mean, it killed him like good, real good, right? That was a
Yeah,
NAP, I believe. 100.
yeah,
I think that was 100 grain. But yeah, it wrecked. I mean, it wrecked the blades and everything on it. Understandable going through. And then the muley I got that was Rage 125, but that kind of went high and back, but it cut that artery right under the. I mean, that
yeah,
sucked. He took off running. I was just watching the blood come
sure,
out. Holy crap! Is that freak?
yeah,
And he
right,
must.
yeah.
I mean, when I gutted him, there was hardly any blood in him. He must have sprayed down there all of it out.
If I that the antelope that I shot, frontal shot that I killed, that was with you know um, fixed blades.
Hmm.
And if I'd have shot that with a mechanical, I would have been less apt, I think, to probably kill it on site like that. You may have cut through and got an artery or something, but I hit the spine. So and this had enough penetration to go all the way through the front of the spine to the spinal cord, and that's why he
Hmm.
dropped. And I don't know if a mechanical would have had that cutting edge all the way out to do
Yeah,
to
I mean,
do
a
that.
fixed
So
blade seems more rugged, and it's not gonna,
yeah,
the
hmm,
mechanical opens up with the two little,
yeah,
yeah, the
yeah,
two blades, and I definitely get
exactly.
where you're coming from there. Eric Newman, he says he only uses fixed blades as well.
Yeah,
What are you using on that crossbow you got from me, Eric? I know he said he bought my old crossbow, and him and his boy, I think they shot a rabbit or two, and they were
yeah,
having some fun with it down there. I mean, that's super accurate, but. Yeah, so Wayne was talking about the 45 long colt there, and what you're
yeah.
getting at, Wayne. You did some mounted horse. What do you call it? I don't
It's
want to call it the wrong
Yeah,
name here.
it's cowboy mounted shooting, and what it is it actually all came about through Ranch America, through the TV
Yeah.
series, and I did some content or do the content producing for the show, and do some of that now, and I talked to Miles Cahoon over in Bismarck. He's the president of the club over there, and he said, come out to one of our practices because we can do some filming, and we did that, and we were able to ride and shoot, and it's so addicting. So I have been doing some of their competitions and gotten into that. So what it is you have uh, you have 10 balloons in a pattern. They have like, I don't know, 60, 70 patterns. Then they're randomly pulled out and they're set up where there's a random 5 balloons, and then there's a
Hmm.
rundown 5 balloons. You have 2 pistols. There are 45 Colts, and you shoot the first random ones first, and then you change pistols and shoot the last five with the last pistol. But of course, this is all mounted shooting, and you have got to go through the patterns and go around barrels or whatever the
Mm.
pattern
Yeah, I was
requires.
watching your videos when you did
And
that.
so there's a lot of horsemanship in that involved too, and speed and such. And it's a lot of fun. We were out practicing with my sister-in-law's horses a couple nights ago, doing that. And am I allowed to show you a pistol, or we can't do
No,
that, or
you
what?
can't.
Can't
They'll
answer that.
snipe
Okay.
us if you can't. I wish you could, but yeah. I wish next
So
time you come on, we'll have a picture of it, and then I'll pop a picture of it.
yeah, so what I did, I did end up buying two pistols, so I'm getting into it here a little bit. They're
What
45
model you got?
Colts.
Okay,
They're,
yeah,
they're
go on.
45 Colts. Now I could have got the Ruger Vaqueros. I ended up going with a Taylor, where they're Ubertis. The Taylor is the
Okay,
distributor on them,
yeah.
and they're 45 Colt. These are 3.5 inch barrels. They're tuned. These were tuned, and the
What does
hammers
that
are
mean? So what does that mean? They tuned them?
it's tuned. They're tuned so that everything lines up real nice, and it's got a smooth cock. You know, because they're single action. You have to cock them each time,
Okay.
and then the hammer is also not doesn't stick up above like this. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
down and tapered back, so they're easier to get at when you're cruising through there. Now
Sure.
you have to holster. You got to think about that. You got to shoot five very quickly and figure out which is going to be the best shot, strong hand or offhand as you're shooting. And as
Then you
you're
got to put it back in your holster too.
well, yeah, when you shoot the first five, you got to put down in your holster and grab your other one for shooting the last five.
So
And
Trump's old Secret Service gals would be in big trouble there.
exactly,
They couldn't do it standing there.
exactly.
I'm joking.
That's a good
Anyways,
one.
sort of.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. I like that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's getting to be more and more popular, I think. So yeah,
So
looking
you
forward
said blanks. I mean,
to
how far
participating
out?
in that a little bit more.
How far are you shooting bullets, or do
Well,
the
what
blanks
these
actually blow the balloons up at a certain range?
well, what it is, it's black powder. It's black powder in the cartridge, and they're crimped. So that black powder will burn, and it'll burn out to probably 20 feet is probably max that you're going to
Okay.
get. So you're going
Wow.
to
I
get
mean, that's
then the black powder is a little bit bigger chunks too, of course, So then you've got that flake that can
like
also
shot
hit
shell
and
almost
break
coming
balloons
out of there. Shit.
as well as the burning embers of that. But it's 20 feet is about all, you know.
I mean, that's farther than I thought. Really. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, it's fun. It really is fun, but it's just a matter of instinct shooting. I mean, you don't really aim. You gotta, point and shoot and
Hmm.
ride fast.
But
That's
like
right.
point and shoot. So a quick story about that. I took my sister-in-law shooting one time up to Wilton. Her and my brother-in-law and I went up there, and she said she never shot a pistol before. And I can't remember if it was my M&P 9mm or he's got a 40, but I had just like like a water bottle like this. This is,
Mhm.
what is this one here? 16 ounces. And I set a whole bunch of them up at anywhere from 10 to probably 25. And she was shooting and hitting all these things. And she got done and she's like, that was fun. I'm like, how in the hell did you hit all those?
Yeah,
Like, how
it's
are you
crazy.
aiming? She goes,
Yeah,
I wasn't. I just pointed at it. I'm like, there's no freaking way. And I set like 8 more up. And she did the same thing, Wayne. She didn't even aim. She just pointed and nailed them, right?
yeah. It's like throwing a baseball. You don't aim a baseball. You just throw the baseball. Another example of that is we were down with my sons and daughter-in-laws, and Judy was down. We were shooting clay pigeons down at the range, and
Mm-hmm.
And my son Jared, he goes, I'm just going to shoot it from the hip here. Just throw one out there with the thrower. Threw it out, bam, he nailed it. And then we just all went crazy. We go, no, go, you
Love
can't
it.
do that. You couldn't do that again. He did it again and again. He shot seven in a row, Jamie.
No
Seven in a row
way.
like
No
that.
way.
I
That's
couldn't believe
awesome.
it. It's like you got to
That's
be
freaking
kidding me.
really good.
And it was just the timing and the launch of and just him
Tell them to
pointing
do that at pheasant
instinctively.
opener, get one like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to hit a couple of these comments here talking about your pistols. Gene says, Taylor is a nice setup. And Eric Newman, I know that Miles Cahoon fella, nice guy. Wayne,
Yeah.
are the question for you, are the revolvers 1873s?
Yes, I believe they are. They're the Uberti 1873 revolvers. I
Okay.
believe that's what they're. I'd have to look at the fine print, but Yeah. And
Levi, you like
Taylor,
my
yeah,
comment there about the
yeah,
Secret Service, I think, but go on.
yeah, yeah. That's good. Yeah, we
So,
could
what
give
is
them
it?
some
So, like, how
lessons.
many rounds do you got to bring to one of these competitions then?
Well, we shoot. There's 3 patterns, and you go through 3 patterns, so you only need 30 rounds
Okay.
per day. So per
I mean,
per
is there any
event.
practice? Is there a way to practice for this, or just you just got
Yeah,
to
they
ride
have.
your horse and hit it
No,
and just?
they have practices a couple times a week up at the arena north of Bismarck, and there was competition this weekend, so I was out there on Saturday and Sunday, and so you shoot 10 rounds or 30 rounds a night, and yeah, it's pretty nice.
I
And
mean, it wasn't like you were walking your horse either. I mean,
oh no,
you
oh
look like
no.
you were moving pretty good. I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't look
you
easy.
get going, but then there's the patterns. You have some of them. They're considered gates, so you have a balloon on each side. When you go through those, now you have to be fast riding going through, but you even have to be faster if you're going to shoot both of those as you go through, because otherwise you're going to be past it and have to shoot behind you to get it. So there's different gates, different
Yeah, that
patterns how
would be
you
way
run. So
harder.
you, and I have a tendency. I had an issue with one pattern this last weekend. That's because I was just riding too fast. It just the horse couldn't cut as quick as I wanted it
So
to. Or
they time it with
yeah,
not just hitting the balloons, but the timing through the
it's a
course.
timing, yeah.
Exactly.
So if you leave a balloon, if you miss a balloon, that's a 5-second penalty. If you break a pattern, if you don't go through a gate, or you don't go around a barrel or something like that, then it's a 10-second penalty. If you drop a pistol, that's a 5-second penalty. I think if you fall off your horse, it's a 60-second penalty or something.
You might as well just shut her down if you fall off the
Yeah,
horse,
if
man.
I do that, I'm gonna go home. It'd
So
be so embarrassing, man. I tell you.
I think if you miss a balloon and you come to the end, you should just stop the horse right there, and then there's a guy or a gal standing there with a 22 lever, and they just throw it up to you, and you got to take a shot at the balloon.
Well, and there's different rounds now. There's a shotgun round and there's also a rifle round. So
Oh,
it's the same
cool.
setup, except you only use one pistol and a shotgun, or one pistol and a rifle. So if you're going to go through and you're shooting the random ones with the pistol, and then on the rundown you use the rifle. So what you do is you get going down the rundown and you just drop the reins on your horse and your lever action rifle, and you shoot. If you have a shotgun, you have 2 shots, so they cluster the balloons. They have 2 balloons on one standard and 3 balloons on the other, and you got to shoot those. And if you
Double
think, well,
barrels.
double barrels, yeah. So, and if you think, well, that's easy shooting the cluster, you'd be surprised at how many guys go and they shoot and they hit one of the 3 balloons. It's like, how does that happen?
Oh,
So,
I believe it.
so
The older
yeah,
I get, the more I realize you better not say stuff like that because it bites. When you're young and
yeah,
cocky, you think, that'll be easy.
yeah, exactly.
Give
Yeah.
her a go and see how it works. But yeah, that's so. Where do they do these at? How many different spots in the state do they have
Well,
these?
there's a Flying D arena up north of Bismarck that they have it at. There's one in Center on the 9th of August. There's one in Dickinson on the 17th and 18th of August, and then the state shoot is in Bismarck here too.
Okay.
I like
Eric wants to know if
Eric's
you get your
comment.
stick horse there.
Yeah. Hey, your time would be a little slower, but you'd probably be okay.
Yeah, yeah, you get a good workout in running around there, Eric.
Yeah,
Look like
yeah,
them people who run through the dog courses on their hands and knees. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I gotta. We're talking about scoring and such. I gotta show you something. So this picture here, you can see it.
Jeez, oh
Okay.
yeah, we can see. You
Now
bet.
that was shot in Alberta, Canada, and then the guys made a
Oh, cool.
replica
Yeah,
of
I
that.
saw these things. They make like little replicas of them. There's a computer program. That is freaking awesome,
Yeah,
man.
it's 3D, and then they put the
Yeah,
velvet on afterwards. So
yeah.
I thought
I didn't know
that.
they could do the velvet. I just seen like the hard antlered ones.
Well, one of the taxidermy shops, they worked on getting the velvet set up, and because the owner wanted one
I
done,
mean,
I
do you
think.
mind asking me how much it cost?
Um, I worked it out with those guys, so we had kind of a deal going. So I couldn't really tell you what they would charge. I think
Okay.
they're probably around. I think you can have them made online. You can get measurements or take pictures.
Hmm.
And they're probably around $100, I think, or something like that.
Man, that's
Yeah.
it. I know I seen
Yeah.
the software for it. I was telling you about, or
Yeah.
somebody sent it to me, and I mean, it was like $1,000. I mean, you needed like 2 or 3 things, and I'm like, man, for that you could probably make your money back pretty quick with that.
Oh yeah, I would think so. They're pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that was really cool. I didn't know you could do the
Yeah.
velvet. That's really freaking cool. I
Yeah.
like that a
Then
lot.
they made and they did the skull plate as well, which I thought was pretty cool. Some have just had the antlers on kind of a flat,
Mhm.
like a
No,
chiropractor skull
I'd
plate.
want the whole skull
Skull
like
plate.
that. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's freaking
It
cool.
just, yeah.
So what that thing what was that score that
Um,
the one there you held
Scored
up?
253, non-typical.
Holy shit. I couldn't even imagine seeing something
Yeah.
like that come out and
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine.
wow. Wow. Yeah,
So,
you just feel like, well, if I never get another one, I guess I'm good, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't find those in North Dakota very often, I don't think.
No,
So,
I mean I hear they're around, but I mean I've never
oh
seen
yeah,
one. I guess
yeah,
Shannon McKay got that one north of Golden Valley there that time, but I've never seen
yeah.
anything close to that around there. But
Well, the Golden Valley boys up there and all that area, they know how to manage a deer. That's for sure.
hmm hmm
Yeah.
you bet. All right, so I'll tell you what, Wayne,
So,
I gotta do my
yep,
double out one more time here, and then we'll come
you bet.
back and we'll finish her up. Let's see if I can
Sounds
get
good.
this. Let's see if I can do this good this time. We got all these folders here, and like I said, Clay and Deacons are the big technical guys. So we're gonna run our
Mhm.
double out here. We'll be right back. We'll finish it up here with Wayne Muth.
Ah! That's a war face. Now let me see your war face. You don't scare me.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck, Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
I just Deacons
good.
made that for me, so I
That's
had
good.
to-
Maybe you should show that to Kamala.
yeah, she's a big. She was talking about
Yeah.
the year in the Lord. Yeah, I don't believe anything she says about that, but
Yeah.
oh,
That's good.
anyways, Wayne.
So,
Yeah, and Eric Newman says that's freaking insane in size. So speaking of
yeah.
Levi Nelson here, real quick, August 8th, I'm gonna have Levi on 701 Nation. He's coming on
Oh
with
yeah.
me, so he's
Awesome.
got six tags, Wayne. When he told me that, I said, "You got to come on. We got to talk about these 6 tags he got all over the place
Yeah.
here."
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, he
he's
gets a lot of tags. He's it reminds me of myself when I was that age too. You try to get a bunch of tags and get things done and hunt
mhm.
all the time and kudos to him. He does a great job. He knows what he's doing. He knows what tags he can get. He times himself out so he can do it right and not short himself on any of the hunts and and
Mhm.
such. And I see he's got a comment there about his horse cigar. That's what he's reflecting. He
Oh, is
asked
that
if I
what he
could,
said? When are you gonna
yeah,
try this on a cigar? Okay.
on cigar. Well, cigar is one of the horses we took down to Scott Bachmeyer's, and um, the roundup down there. And if you could shoot off him, I'd be glad to try. I tell you what, if you want to train a horse that does
Gonna ask you about
lots of good
shooting.
things, you get them into this mounted shooting, the reining, the takeoff, the turns, the just shooting off them, the distractions of the noise, all this stuff. It's
Mhm.
just great for horses, and it makes your horses better, definitely.
So
So
what is like a top-notch horse for the mounted shooting compared to like a good cutting horse if you're gonna buy one?
well, I think there's all kinds of levels there. I would imagine if you're going to get to the top end, you're probably getting into the 20 to $30,000 horse if you're going to spend that. But because you're talking about the cutting horses, you're going to get into up in the
Yeah.
close to 100,000 for
I was
some of
gonna
those
say
guys.
80 to
Right?
100 for
Yeah,
those
yeah,
probably, but I mean that's
yeah,
definitely
exactly.
way more popular than as of right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah,
So
and
yeah, Eric, he's
yeah,
got his
so-
he's got his list going here for us, right? Of mounts we were talking about. He said if he shot a mule deer over 200, it's going life size. And Eric owns Grizz's Taxidermy there in South Dakota. 180 whitetail gets a life size, and the 16-inch goat gets a life size. What do you think about
oh
that one?
wow, he's got to have a lot of room for that stuff. That's all I'm saying.
You need
I
an addition on the house.
I I have a hunting room in my garage, and that's where a lot of my mounts are. And I just keep the nicer, bigger ones downstairs in the basement, and been doing some
Mhm.
different things with them because just not as much room. And the you get some that are very special. That'll be different, of course, but probably won't do as much taxidermy as I have in the past. So
Yeah. So I mean, we're getting a little longer than I like, but I got to
yeah,
ask you this. So
yeah,
if I get anything in velvet, because last time I just threw it in the freezer, but apparently there's
hmm
sprays out there you can put on there. Do you got any
yeah.
recommendations for me to get
Yeah, that would be the recommendation I would do. I would get the spray. I'd have it on hand. Get
any
it.
particular brand? That,
It's the Velvet Tan. I think it's a spray. It's a spray tan. You get it at Shields, I know, and you just got
okay.
to spray them down and spray them down a couple times. You'd have to read on there the instructions. I know they do pretty well with those.
Hmm.
Because to me the best way to do it is freeze drying. And I've always said that because I've had freeze dried
Hmm.
antlers, and the velvet stands up really really nice and high and such. I think with this other ones are pretty good too because these taxidermists they're so good nowadays. You have all these guys in town. Jake Fandrick's a friend of ours here too that has JB's taxidermy, and they do a great job with this velvet stuff. And Dakota Taxidermy and Nevada Miller here in town, and some of these guys, they do such good work that they can get that velvet to look really natural. But I think initially getting that velvet spray on is going to be critical. Yeah,
Eric says Velvalock.
velvet
That's what
lock,
he
that's it,
Okay, that's
perfect,
what it
thank
is.
you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
I know. I know. Like I said, I put mine in the freezer, and I mean, I still got my whitetail up here. The freaking guy did an awesome job on it.
Hmm.
He did that whitetail, and
Hmm.
man, he did my other big whitetail I got with my rifle too. That was hard horn, but okay. Oh, Levi, here we go. He's got 8 total. We're gonna
Eight
talk
total. Ah, there you go.
here. 8
So,
total. I'm
yeah.
looking forward to talking about that, man.
Yeah.
That's
So with the velvet too, one of the things that's really hard is moving the animal and without tearing the velvet off.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you lay it in a vehicle, when you're dragging it and you're pulling it, and they're short haired, so you don't want to wrinkle the hair too bad,
It's
and
like a
and and
caterpillar. I thought when I got
yeah,
it, I
it's
squeezed
yeah.
it, and I was like, yeah. I mean, it ain't as durable as you'd think it would be.
No, no, they can come off. It could peel off pretty easy. So yeah,
And I know
but
like one of the brows, he had it peeled off there a little
yeah,
bit, and I mean
yeah,
it's still, but he did. Yeah, I mean it's a
right.
cool mount for sure.
I shot one in Montana, a whitetail. I actually pulled a sneak on it and shot it. The velvet was hanging off it when I shot it, and then I mounted it like that. I did an open
Hey,
mount, and then I actually we put it through the tanning process. We put the whole antlers through the tanning process. Gene Kohler's taxidermy down in Glen Olin, we did that, and then afterwards, it gets dried out and it gets wrinkly, And so I used a resin oil and rubbed it through, and then airbrushed it blood red on the inside of that and tried to make it look natural. But
Sweet.
that was the very first one I've ever seen like that.
So
And
if
then
somebody doesn't want the velvet, or they think it costs too much, I mean, they can get it off, and the taxidermist can stain it and make it look real, right?
if you peel it, just peel it off. It will. Oh, you mean put velvet, re-velvet it,
No, I'm
or
saying if they're like,
just
I don't
peel
want
the
the
velvet
velvet
off?
on there. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just peel the velvet off, and actually, once that dries out, that'll dry out fairly white. You know.
Yeah, that's
And-
what I'm saying. They can stain it to make it look like they got it in November or something, right? Because
oh
I don't
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
they
white
can.
look when people get the velvet off. I think that
Yeah,
looks like shit. It looks like it's laid
mhm,
out in the open for a freaking year and
yeah,
the sun bleached it out. But
yeah.
I mean,
I've
if I
had
get one in velvet, it's getting mounted with the velvet on for sure.
I missed a buck. I'm talking about bucks I miss all the time. I
Everybody's
just
done it.
I missed a buck because I was walking out of the woods and I actually lost my release. And then I got in my tree stand the next morning and I was reaching for my release and I didn't have it. And I'm going,
Oh
what the heck?
no.
So then I had to shoot my fingers. Well, anyway, this buck came by and he was probably 30 yards and he had just shed his velvet and his rack was blood red. It was really cool looking. And then of course I missed him. So
Dang. Well, I
and
mean
that
that
was a long, long
happens, right?
time ago when I was a shitty shot or something. I think
Yeah.
that's my excuse. That's my
That was for the
excuse.
second year you're doing archery. You were shooting 30 arrows every other day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, Friday morning, Clayton's going to be on. Deacons can't make it. Mitchell in the morning, 8:15 a.m. on KFYR 550, 99.7, and iHeartRadio. He's going to be on 8:15 till 9. And of course, the boys are on Wednesday, and they'll be on this Wednesday again. Like I said, I'll be on in 2 weeks again with Levi. And other than that, I don't have a whole lot going. I mean, Wayne, you and me could sit here for a long time and talk. I love having
Yeah,
you on
it's fun.
talking about deer stuff, and we're definitely going to be on a couple more times here during the
Yeah,
deer season for sure.
let's do it. Let's do it. You bet.
Yeah. We get Levi on talk about that, and yeah, I mean, if you get a deer opener or antelope, whatever, I'd love it if you drew an antelope and I drew one too.
That'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be
But yeah,
nice.
if you get something
Yeah.
you want to come on and talk story about it, man, I'd
Okay.
love to hear that.
Yeah,
Let's
we'll
do that.
if we get a moose, we'll do that too. Yeah.
Oh, love it for
Yeah.
sure. Josh Patterson, great show again. Thank you, Josh. Brian Warner, good
Yeah.
show, guys. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate everybody listening in. And hey, I know we were back on Facebook again tonight, but I'm just telling you guys, get yourself a little side account there on X because they're coming for gun channels. And Clay and I and Deacons
Yeah.
decided we're not going to change it up too much because you know it is, Wayne. If you water shit down, it just ain't the same. So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
used to play softball and loved it, but you start getting banged up when you can't play that way or ski, and I'm just like, you know what,
Mhm.
it ain't worth it. So I hope everybody can make the switch if we have to, and
Yeah.
I'd love it if we
Exactly.
didn't, but if we do, we whatever. All right,
Mhm.
Wayne, hang
Okay.
on, just hang on with me here after that. I'll
Okay.
talk to you a little bit afterwards. But thanks again, everybody. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Don't forget to listen to Guns in the 701 on Mitchell in the morning tomorrow, and of course, Guns in the 701 next Wednesday. So, thanks, guys. We'll talk at you. And